Dear students, in this lecture we will prove a result on existence of a vector orthogonal to a proper and closed linear subspace of Hilbert space. Let us see the result. Theorem: let M be a proper let M be a proper closed linear subspace of H of Hilbert space H of Hilbert space H. Then there is a non-zero vector Z0. There is a non-zero vector Z0, in H such that Z0 is orthogonal to M. Z0 is orthogonal to M. So let us see proof. The proof makes use of the theorem which we have proved in earlier lecture. So let me draw a figure for analogy. A vector space M is there and X plus M is another space. So as M is proper subset, it is a proper subset. It is given that it is proper subset. As M is not equal to H, there is a vector X belongs to H such that X does not belong to M. So X is a vector which is not in M. Then X plus M is a closed convex subspace of H because M is closed. So by known result, let me put this first. Then X plus M is closed convex subset of H. By the previous theorem which we proved in the last lecture, so I could write by the previous theorem, there is a vector, a unique vector y0 in M such that distance between x and y0 equals to distance between x and M, which is equal to d, that is equal to infimum of norm of x plus M where m belongs to n. So geometrically we can try to visualize, this is a vector y0, this is a vector x, and then z0 will be a vector x minus y0. So this will be a vector z0 and this distance is going to be d. Okay, we can visualize this whole as h. H is Hilbert space in this fashion. Okay. Now for scalar alpha, scalar means real or complex number. So for scalar alpha, consider norm of z0 minus alpha y. So I missed the key steps to mention here. We are defining z0 as, this is key step of the proof, we have to establish z0 which is orthogonal to m. So define z0 is equal to x minus y0. This is key step of the proof. I have geometrically explained it, z0 is x minus y0. Okay. Now for scalar alpha, consider norm of z0 minus alpha y. It is easy to observe that z0 minus alpha y belongs to this set, and hence it is going to be great, it belongs to this set. I could write it as norm of x plus m, m belongs to m. Hence norm of, this norm of z0 minus alpha y, because it is of the form x plus m, since z0 is x minus y0 minus alpha y. So it is easy to observe that it is of this form, and y0 minus alpha y0 belongs to m. Okay, for this reason it belongs to this. Hence its norm is going to be greater equal to infimum of this set, which is equal to d, and it is nothing but norm of z0, because z0 is equal to norm of x minus y0. So this is equal to norm of z0. So with this explanation we can write norm of z0 minus alpha y is greater equal to norm of z0. This implies that on squaring, norm of z0 minus alpha y square is greater equal to norm of z0 square. This further implies that we could write this as inner product of z0 minus alpha y, z0 minus alpha y, which is greater equal to inner product of z0 and z0. This further implies that, let us simplify. The next part of the proof is about simplification of this inequality. So on simplification, you can find that this equals to inner product of z0 and z0 minus alpha times minus, I keep this as it is, minus alpha y times, I would like to simplify it in a other way, so I'll add few more steps. So I keep z0 minus alpha y minus I keep this as it is. So minus alpha y, z0 minus alpha y, and it is greater equal to norm of z0 square, because inner product of z0 and z0 equals to norm z0. In fact, I could have kept it as it is. So anyway, for the sake of uniformness, let me keep as it is. Okay. So this implies inner product of z0 and z0 minus alpha conjugate inner product of z0 and y minus alpha conjugate inner product of z0 and y minus alpha times inner product of y and z0, this minus alpha into alpha conjugate, this is in the second coordinate, so it will become alpha conjugate inner product of y and y, which is greater equal to norm of z0 square. So it is easy to observe that this term and this term gets cancelled. So what we have is this alpha conjugate minus alpha conjugate inner product of z0 and y minus alpha y and inner product of y and z0 equals to, so this is minus minus, so that will become plus. Okay, note this correction, mod alpha square norm of y square is greater equal to 0. Okay, now put beta is equal to alpha inner product of z0 and y. So it is easy to observe that with this substitution, what will be alpha conjugate? It will be alpha z0y and z0y. Okay. So I think I should put it in this fashion. Put alpha as beta z0y, where beta is real number, it is scalar, in fact it is real number, that's what we are taking. So with this, you can now observe that this will get simplified to, what will be conjugate of alpha? Let me better write it here. Then, so what will be the conjugate of alpha? It is beta conjugate z0y, z0y. Again, this will be minus beta z0y, z0y. So we are going to have this as 2 times minus 2 times beta z0 y square, okay, on taking conjugate of this. So with this substitution, it is easy to observe. Make sure that you understand this step. We are just taking a conjugate of alpha. So this implies that with this minus 2 times beta, these will be conjugates of each other, so that will be mod z0y square, so these two terms gets added, plus this term as it is, mod alpha square norm y square is greater equal to 0. Take a as real number mod z0y square which is greater equal to 0 and b as this number, again it is going to be non-negative, norm alpha square y square, which is greater equal to 0. So what we will have is this. So we have from this previous step that minus 2 beta A plus B is greater equal to 0, which implies that B is greater equal to 2 beta A. This whole, as A and B are arbitrary positive real numbers because alpha was any scalar. Alpha and beta are any scalar, so A and B are arbitrary positive real numbers. If A is non-zero, but it is already non-negative, A is non-negative, then A will be positive and we can find beta such that B will be less than 2 beta A. This will contradict, so let me call this as say star, statement star. So this contradicts star, hence A cannot be 0, A is not greater than 0, that is A must be equal to 0. Hence we have A is what? A is this. So this is 0. Hence modulus of inner product of z0y equals to 0, implying that z0 is orthogonal to y. What was y? I think I did not specify y, but I could modify the proof here. Note that for scalar alpha and y belongs to M, we had this. I should have specified it at the very beginning of this. Anyway, you take into account that y is any vector in M, implying that z0 is orthogonal to y for every y belongs to M. So z0 is orthogonal to M. This proves our claim that z0 is orthogonal to M. Recall the statement. The statement states that if M is closed proper linear subspace of H, then there is a vector, a non-zero vector z0 in H such that z0 is orthogonal to M. This completes the proof. Thank you.